Hello and welcome to the Fourth Wall Podcast. I am your co-host, Matthew Calhoun. This is a podcast dedicated to movies, games, books, anything basically that you would like. Please check us out at our website at www.thefourthwall.co, where you find out more about us and just anything in general about movies and games and stuff like that. And please enjoy the podcast.
Are you not entertained?
Great Scott. You're a wizard, Harry.
Force is strong, isn't it? This is Peppy. All barrel roll. Fire barrel roll.
I am the Super Saiyan, Son Goku!
It's me, Mario.
Stop, would you kindly?
Hello and welcome. This is the segment of our show where we do My Movies Better, where we take an iconic character or iconic movie and break it down and fight about it. Today with me is Matt Parker and Braden Cole. As not per usual, but they are here today, so thank you. Thank you.
We are not usual.
Yes. Also, today, our fight will be Captain America versus Batman. Captain America being my favorite hero, and Batman being
The best superhero ever.
Braden's favorite superhero. I thought Thor was maybe your favorite, but
No, it's second best.
second best. It's your favorite Marvel superhero.
Yeah, we'll go favorite Marvel superhero.
Okay. So we have divided it into 3 rounds as last time. 1 best movie, round 2 best team, and round 3 an actual fight. Who would win in an actual fist fight? If it came down to it, Matt Parker will be our judge today. He's ready to go, somewhat.
I'm curious how this is going to play out.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm gonna win.
It could go either way. You.
I lost last time, so I'm a little steamed. I'm a little ready to go. Braden was actually judging last time, so hopefully you aren't in collusion with each other.
Oh, we're in cahoots.
Cahoots?
We're in cahoots.
Collusion? My
that a
grandma
thing?
used to say
I
that.
don't know. I like cahoots.
Okay.
Like cahoots.
She also said that too. You in cahoots? My grandma was weird.
You know what I imagine your grandma saying?
What?
You in your cahoots while you're wearing your boots.
Probably would. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this off. Please also find out more about us on our website, www.thefourthwall.org. And just check us out and check out what you might like and see what we have to offer. Matt is also a writer on the website there, and we have some cool articles we'd like you guys to check out. So let's go ahead and start this, Matt.
All right. Round 1 is going to be movie. And what we decided to do, because Batman obviously has more movies, we want to keep this fair, so we decided to pick the best movie out of your hero's roster. Okay? So I'm going to let Matt start.
Here, let me. Oh crap. I'll just name it. Okay. It's Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier. I feel like that's the only one you can really pick, which is maybe a good thing and a bad thing in itself. But regardless of the track record of Captain America, this movie changed everything for not only Marvel and their cinematic universe, but the way that people felt about Captain America. I mean, you talk about somebody just going from like what everybody thought is the most boring character to like the most awesome action type character that a lot of people finally took notice of him and how awesome he was. And the Russo brothers did such a great job with him. It really did change the whole game with how we do Marvel movies and stuff like that. It's where they really broke out of their genre with Captain America 2. And I won't talk very, very long for first, so Braden, you go ahead.
Alright, the movie that I chose to go with would be the second installment of the Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight. Out of the 3, I feel it is the best, well-directed movie. It has 2 great actors pinned up against each other, Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, with the added effect of Michael Caine, who is behind the scenes trying to explain the whole drive of the Joker to Christian Bale's character, Bruce Wayne, who just doesn't understand the concept of someone who just doesn't care about anything and will as he quoted, wants to watch the world burn. So, I guess I won't go into any more detail. I'll let Matt try to start his argument on a character who has played every superhero character possible.
Not true at all.
Left jab right there at the end.
Left jab.
He did play
throwing
the
it out there.
Human Torch, which was...
He was also in the Losers.
I never saw that movie, actually.
It was okay.
Never seen that movie either.
Yeah. Let's not talk about it, because I'm going to talk about my movie.
Snowpiercer.
So, that was actually a good movie. I don't know.
It was okay.
It's a good little, like, indie film type thing. Anyways.
Yeah.
But okay.
Why is Captain America 2 better than The Dark Knight?
Okay, so whenever you think of a character like Captain America, a lot of people will think that I will be honest with you, a lot of people think that he was boring before. And I personally hated the first Captain America. I didn't hate it, but I very much disliked it, even though it was his first venture and he's my favorite superhero. They made him look like such a pansy. And, like, they made the movie so toned down to where, like, he barely had any action. Well, this one, he's, like, full frontal, just on display for everybody to see. And the best thing about that is, like, they also really flush out Captain America with his past and stuff like that. How his past haunts him and how this man out of time really does affect you. And even though, because of the super soldier serum, I think that that's what makes him able to deal with it all. And how he still finds his place while he battles. And I think it's a movie that's so touching with what's happening with the U.S. and how we feel about government implying or in our own rights and spying on us and stuff like that. And how Cap deals with this whole battle of what, should we... am I fighting for the good guys? Am I fighting for the right guys? Regardless of what happens in the third act. But even before that, and before the second act, he's still saying, well, if these people have these ulterior motives, I can't lead them. And it's not even compartmentalizing what he's telling Nick Fury. It's bolt right out lying. It puts Cap in a situation where it's no longer right and wrong like it was in World War II. It was these moral gray areas. And I think that it does it a little bit... I think it does it just as well as The Dark Knight, and also it has this very nice progression with obviously Bucky. I don't think that The Dark Knight has something like as I would say that would bring a hero to his knees as much, maybe from like a friend standpoint than Bucky is. Bucky is Captain America's link to the past and is linked back to his humanity and back to what, in a sense, about who he was and in this past that he had. And so for Cap to find Bucky and all that type of stuff, and for that to go down the way it did, it changed it. Not only it changed what people thought of Captain America, but it changed how we looked at Marvel movies, how we started seeing deeper meanings in them, and also how we started seeing the things that can make a movie great, even whenever they're not the most powerful character in the room, and how one man can really change the difference whenever it comes to how one character can change the difference from how we view our society as a whole. So you can go.
I would have to disagree with the whole Batman and Dark Knight didn't have anything to link him to his past or affect him in any way, as you pointed out with Bucky being his friend. I know most people didn't really like the whole brought in another actress to play Rachel, and a lot of people didn't like Rachel to begin with, but Rachel was Bruce's way out. It was his way to be done with everything that he started, because with the way things were going, it was turning out to be Batman was no longer needed. You had Harvey Dent, who was cleaning up the streets, who was the face of everything, but at the same time didn't realize that Harvey Dent was also moving in on Rachel, who they both liked each other. She still had feelings for Bruce, which she fought with through the entire movie, but Rachel was his way out, and then once she was killed off, he lost everything. But until it was in the third movie, it didn't show that she chose Dent over Bruce. But that's a completely different movie. But and then with Batman having to struggle with all of these people needing him, and then the added, like, new villain in the film, the Joker, who's unstoppable. He can't do anything to, like, beat him. He can't figure a way around to stop or imprison, do anything to control him. It's just not possible because he has all these other little plans working at the same time. His whole plan was to just make Dent become less than what people were building him up to be. Plan wasn't to, like, ruin and kill Batman. It was to show that everyone whoever you are, even if you were the best person that's in that town, can still be brought to his knees and be turned to anyone. Like, he could have been the same common criminal he was fighting against, the same crime lord he was fighting against, which the Joker did an extremely well job of doing that with murdering off the love interest of not only Batman, but Harvey Dent at the same time, while creating another villain, which, I mean, was extremely well thought out through Christopher Nolan, and it was...
Dude is a boss.
it was, and it's kind of sad, though, that they ended up killing off Dent at the end of the movie, because it would have definitely been an interesting character to see later on, because it's... The way they planned it out is, not only is the Joker straight up against him and always has to have Batman against him, and now with the added effect of Dent blaming Batman and Commissioner Gordon and having to, like, get revenge on them and make everything even, it just kind of would have been an interesting added effect to the third movie.
Yeah, I think. Well, and, like, I don't know if you've ever read. There's a comic book called The Killing Joke, and in this comic book, basically what the Joker does is basically he shoots Barbara Gordon, which is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. He shoots her in the back and then paralyzes her. Then takes very graphic photos of her, and, like, the entire time there's all this stuff happening to Commissioner Gordon. And then at the very end, he, like, takes Gordon through this roller coaster ride and, like, shows all these horrible pictures of his daughter to him and stuff like that. And, like, basically, and, like, what he tells Batman in the very end of the story is, like, basically what I'm trying to prove is if one person, all it takes is one really bad day and they can turn out to be like me. And, like, just, like, I feel like they borrowed that from The Killing Joke, which isn't a bad thing. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't. It was really well thought out.
So I'll give Braden a point for what you just said.
But you know, you talked about kind of like the many layers a little bit of that movie. I think Cap 2 also has many layers. Not only is he dealing with a man out of time, he's also dealing with government surveillance in the movie and how we feel about that. He's also feeling about Bucky, who's been turned as the enemy against them.
Oh yeah, I have to agree. Like,
yeah,
he's still living in the world of freedom. We're fighting for people being free, but everything's changed in the time that he was frozen. Like,
yeah,
we no longer trust people enough to say, "Oh, you'll be completely free. We won't have to worry about you." And that's just something he completely struggles with.
I think what the seeds of Cap 2 planted is going to be coming to full ripe of Civil War, and that doesn't not make it a complete movie. It just makes it even that more great, because you will see that the seeds that were planted in Cap 2 about his whole vision of the government and what is freedom, what is fear, and stuff like that will come into fruition in Civil War and will make a bigger impact later on down the road, to where he will distrust Stark, because Stark thinks that everything is his fault. And so, but not only that, the chemistry that he has with Black Widow is you know, it's on par with the relationship, I think, with him and with Rachel. I think you kind of see this almost romantic relationship, but not exactly, because they're at the end of the day, Black Widow is still doing her job, and it leaves us in this state with the Marvel universe of just what will happen next. And not only that, but where does this character go from here after he's taken down the only organization that brought him in and made him the superhero to lead the Avengers that he was supposed to be. And it makes for a kind of just telling tale of this man that had nothing, gained everything, then lost it all, and then gained something again, and then lost it all again. And with Bucky, with the relationship that he has with Bucky, is so significant, because if you think about it, if you were literally taken out of time, you know, put 60 years later in the future, and then showing a friend somehow make it through all that, and he's still the same age and all that. That's deep. And not only that, I think that they both have. I think when people discredit Captain America 2, saying it may not be as good as The Dark Knight because it doesn't have as many layers, I think it does. I think it's maybe not as pretty, I would say, as The Dark Knight, but it does have a lot of layers, a lot of deeper hidden meanings, especially with the government surveillance and how we view that, and how Cap is turned into this fugitive, and also as the Dark Knight is surrounded, as Batman is surrounded by these characters that help him throughout this journey. So is Cap, and Cap is helped out by the Falcon, Scarlett Johansson. I almost said Scarlett Johansson, but Scarlett Johansson and Nick Fury and stuff like that, all playing this massive spy game that also took the comic book movie and broke into a spy genre and did stuff like that, which is pretty impressive, I would have to say, and a lot different than what other people have seen. Whenever it first came out, it totally changed the game for what people thought about Marvel movies, and a lot of top 10 lists now have that at the top for what they think is the best overall complete Marvel movie. Just so, yeah.
I'd have to agree. It definitely brought Marvel into more of a, I guess,
different era.
Different, yeah. I was going to go with darker compared to what it has been, because it's been real light, has the nice jokes, which Cap 2 basically had those jokes still. They just there weren't as many. It was subtle little, that's a funny thing to put in there. It wasn't like the other ones that they've done, and some of the more recent ones that are like, you laugh out loud, like with the Marvel one, with the whole
with Ant-Man.
Yeah. There were a lot of things a lot of people were laughing about. I mean, the Winter Soldier definitely had more of a darker feel, and they added that to some of their other movies, like with the second Thor that they made. They were definitely more realistic and dark compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
But that would be one thing that the Dark Knight trilogy has over a lot of the Marvel ones. They are darker. They are
more is at stake, I feel like.
Yeah, they have.
Or
they have
really,
darker
really
humor too, like with the Joker. Once he's blowing up the hospital and he's standing there clicking the button, and it's kind of the things you would expect from the Joker, like, wow, it's not working, and then just starts, and then it blows up, and he's like freaks out.
That scene was improvised.
Yeah,
it
was
was
all
amazing.
improvised by that, and I mean,
which is crazy.
it really is. It would be a scary moment, but he played it off so well. He played it in character, and that's exactly what you would imagine from the Joker doing something like that. But there were dark things, like with the how everybody quotes the "why so serious" thing. I mean, if you look at it, a lot of that stuff's pretty dark. He's sticking a knife in somebody's mouth, and he's like going to kill them, but he's telling this whole story of like how he got these scars, why he's all a little messed up. But we play it off, and some of it's kind of funny, like the whole, again, why so serious, and then put a smile on that face, and we kind of think it's funny, but they played it off very well to where it's a dark, serious, but has that dark humor that some people get, some people don't. But with that movie and how they've done things, it definitely made people think about other things. Like, they definitely added Alfred in and made him more than just the butler in the background, doing his chores, doing whatever else he needs there. He was conversing with him, and you hear all these stories that he's telling him about people that are just evil for the sake of being evil. There's just nothing that can be done about it, and that is the Joker for Batman, and there's nothing that can be done, and that's just something he's going to have to fight against, and he just has to become the better man than killing him, which in the end, you have the scene where they're fighting on the construction building, and he can kill him, or he chooses to save him, and because he doesn't want to kill anybody, that's what he chooses to do. And that's the same thing with, in the end, when he's fighting against Harvey Dent and trying to save Gordon's family. Yeah, he knocks him off. He doesn't intend to kill him. Does it happen? It does. I don't think that it was an intended thought process that he was going to knock him off, kill him, and everything was going to be hunky-dory again.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then at the end with James Gordon talking to his son about how Batman's the hero that they need, but not the one that they deserve and everything. And it just proves that there's going to be somebody that may not be the person you want right now in your life or what you'll need, but it's something that you deserve to have, somebody to take the blame, and they played it out very well at the end.
Yeah. I would think that, or I would say that one thing that The Dark Knight, I think, does not have, or is not better at doing than the Russo brothers or Christopher Nolan was not better at doing, was the fact that the action itself in Captain America 2 is better, better looking and better sounding and stuff like that. Like, there's nothing that can compare to that elevator scene, the end where Cap is fighting through all those dudes on those helicarrier flights and stuff like that. I mean, you do in The Dark Knight, you do have where he's going through the subway part, or not the subway, but the parking garage, and then the...
Yes, I would agree in a way with you, but
and
the Dark Knight is more... That one is more of a mental game, but there are still a lot of big action scenes, like when they're driving through the tunnels and the Joker shooting at the car and the explosions with the rocket launcher that he has blowing up the Batmobile. Yeah, there's not a lot of close hand-to-hand combat, and the stuff that there is, I mean, when you have a guy in a black suit and a cape and he's moving around, the cape's going to be in the way, so they could have filmed things better. But The Dark Knight is more of a head game between him and the Joker, trying to, like, stop
as it
this.
should be.
Yeah, it's trying to stop this man who's just certifiably insane and will do whatever it takes to cause mayhem, versus a guy who will put everything on the line to make everything right and not at the same time ruin his moral standing of killing someone. He has to, like, make everything fair and defeat this guy who's just crazy and will do whatever it takes to get it his way. But it is more of a mental game between the two rather than an action flick, which, not bashing Captain America, but, I mean, that one isn't, I would say, more of a mental game. It is because it was a spy movie, but there are a lot more of the action things because it is more, I mean, how could you have a big mental game between, like, Bucky, who doesn't really know who he is, and all he knows is what he's been programmed and told to do over years, and now he has to kill this guy and fight this guy, but he's having flashbacks. So it's not a big, like, mental game. So there is a mental aspect to it, but it's a lot more of a physical fight, and then realizing at the end that maybe I don't have to be this way. Maybe I need to figure out who I am and do what I need to do.
I don't think the mental game so much as him versus the world or versus an adversary for Cap. I think the mental game is him versus himself and what he views. I mean, you talked about a world being flipped upside down. Like I said, the organization that brought him in is literally being turned on the inside out, and by the people that he was supposed to stop in World War II, or was supposed to have killed whenever he goes to meet Zoloff at his old base, and he sees all the memories to figure out that it was, I think Cap says in there that to find out that the people that he thought he killed all those years ago is still alive, it saddens him, and it's, like you were saying, the action, it does have some great pieces, but I don't think it can exactly top the ending in Cap 2, and I don't think it can top where he does also fight Bucky himself, and that whole knife fight that goes down. I don't think there's anything that's choreographed as great as that is in Cap 2, and I think that whole reveal of who Bucky is, if you didn't know before who the Winter Soldier was, and if you didn't know any of the comics, I think, whenever me and Matt were sitting in the movie theaters, we heard gasps, and so I think that was a big moment, is that decision to have Bucky in this universe and stuff like that did matter, and so it turns into not just a mind game, but a game of how to how to bring my friend back to what he was, how to save a soul. And so it's in a sense, it's not trying to be like The Dark Knight or a different movie. It's trying to be its own thing, where it's trying to bring somebody back from the brink of being brainwashed. And so I think that speaks volumes to the way that Cap was written, and the way that and I will say that I think clearly that that The Dark Knight has more memorable lines. I will go ahead and admit that I do think he why so serious? You want to know how I got these scars on my face? I think those are definitely more memorable lines, but I think the more deeper the story you can kind of get into, even though The Dark Knight is it's aimed at that, it's aimed at being deep. What Captain America does is it doesn't exactly aim at pushing itself as a deep movie, but once you get in there and you start watching, you realize all these deeper and deeper levels as you start to go. So yeah, closing arguments.
Yeah, closing statement. This is tough.
I would agree that there are deep meanings in Cap too, but there are a lot of like internal struggles in The Dark Knight. He's struggling with himself to put, which he doesn't really state in the movie how long he's been the Batman, but
I think it's for like he's been the Batman like 2 years.
Is it? Because it never really states very well.
They never stated it, but like I think like Christopher Nolan or
somebody probably said it. I just don't know. But the past few years, the past year that he'd been doing, and he's cleaned up the streets. He's got everything done. He accomplished what he was wanting to do, and now he's struggling with: do I need to keep doing this? Do I just hang everything up? Can I live a normal life with this girl that I truly care about? Then he's struggling with the Joker and how he's able to stop this, and if he can stop this guy, then he's done. But there's always going to be somebody other than somebody like him again, and that's something he has to think about. And then there's the whole: every great man can become a common criminal, and that's another thing that they throw in there, and that's another thing to think about too. Internal struggle with everyone, with Bruce, with Dent. So yeah, end of that.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's all I have to say about that.
I would say that it's good for a closing statement. I would say that it's good that Cap doesn't exactly have the struggles of Batman, and it makes for a more compelling, I think, to me, a more compelling movie whenever the hero who he thinks is the villain flips on him and is actually somebody he thought was good. And I think that element brings in a new and deeper level, just like Batman does, and aims something it can be brought on so many levels and can be experienced on so many different levels, age-wise, and not only that, but is brought to a place where it makes us question what is right and wrong and what is good in this Cap world and what exactly should Cap do. And for the end of the movie, where eventually Bucky does realize that he's good. Technically, to be honest, Cap probably should have died whenever that wreckage went down. But the one that saved him was Bucky, because he went through this huge character transformation in just a short amount of time, and that's pretty powerful. So that's my closing statement. And I would just like to point out we are at 28 minutes about arguing about this movie.
Yeah, I expected this one to be 10 minutes tops, and I also expected Dark Knight to clean the floor with Cap, but you brought it.
I love Captain America.
Just so y'all know, the listeners, I was keeping score based on the really, really good things that they said, and by my count, it's 4-4. So, oh man, I gave you a point for your link to Civil War. That was really good. I gave you a point for better action, because I do agree, but I also agree that yours didn't need the action. So
That's what I was gonna say. Also, is that yours? It's like it works better like the way that it is.
It does. I mean,
I gave you a point for. Well, you said it changed the way Marvel makes movies, and it changed everyone's opinion of Cap. You said that several times, but I totally agree.
it does. It completely changes.
Because
everything.
I totally agree with you too. Like, I thought Captain America was boring until that movie. Even in the
a lot of people
Avengers,
did. Yeah,
I
a
was
lot of
kind of
people
like,
did.
better than his first movie. But okay, and I gave you a point for the whole thing you did about the Joker's plan to turn Harvey Dent into him. I never thought about that. That was really good. I think you countered the link to the past really well, and I think I gave you a point for that. I think that was one of them. Your talk about Alfred was really good, and then how it's a mental game, and you talked about in your closing, you talked about how it talks about all the things that Batman had to go through, and that he was willing to go through. And then I also you tied it up though when you talked about how Captain America goes through the people he thought was bad ended up being good, and then the people he thought was good ended up being bad. Because that's insane. So
before he says like the announcement, I just gotta say though, I enjoyed the first Captain America movie. Like,
Did you really?
I really did, because it really showed like what he really is and how he really believes about things, and it definitely led up into the whole like why he is the way he is in the future, about like all these freedoms that we're supposed to have. Because I mean, of course, I don't know. I didn't live in the 40s and the 30s, but I imagine the government didn't control as much of the local aspect of how people live in society as it does now, and how it was in the Winter Soldier and everything, and how S.H.I.E.L.D. is like watching over everything, and it's supposed to be protecting, but they're making all of these like weapons to destroy and kill
without the trial,
without even like thinking about it, without even like questioning things. And like with the first Avenger, the whole reason they were like, well, we only did this because of Thor and all these other random people that can just show up out of nowhere. That's not really a good reason to do that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, so I do like. I enjoyed the first one because
it could have been better, though.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit better. I don't disagree.
I think the first, like, whenever he gets his powers and after he saves Bucky from the Red Skull, everything kind of after that is what like derailed it for me. I think
when it just goes into the montage.
Yeah, that's what I.
Because you know what that movie needs. A
montage. I think that's why I got. But like I really
I
do
would
like,
agree with that. If it would have showed a little bit more action rather than like montage action scenes, it would have been a little bit better.
A lot more dancing on stage and pretending to punch Hitler in the face.
That was perfect. But it really does show the way, like, the whole reason they made the comic book, and the reason it was propaganda.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was. It was a propaganda thing to get people on board with the whole...
You know, he came out actually before we entered the war. Like, his comic book came out before we entered the war.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go with Captain on this one.
Jesus.
Because Batman was already cool before The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it changed Marvel and the way it changed everybody's opinion of Captain, and that's tough because I love The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I think,
and like, you did made a lot of good points about it.
Yeah, The Dark Knight is like in my top 10 movies.
It is.
Yeah,
but Captain America too changes everything with Marvel. Like I said it earlier, that Thor completely was different from the way they first movie. Because the first movie of Thor was just horrible.
Yeah.
And I like the character. I think the character's like it's a cool concept, and I like the idea of it. But like the cheesiness of it. It was not very action packed.
It was bratty.
Yeah.
It wasn't well done, and they didn't think it through very well. But when the second Captain America was made, and then when they started the Thor, and it changed everything. It made it darker. It made it
I mean,
more action packed, and I
didn't know
he got his hand cut off. Now that was all an illusion, but still,
you didn't know that.
You didn't know that at first, and you're sitting there thinking, "Wow, okay, that kind of just blindsided me there for a second."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was crazy though how dark it went from the cheesy, stupid line from Natalie Portman. Oh my God! Whenever he turned into got his power back to.
Is this what you normally wear?
Thor getting his hand chopped off. And
another.
I mean,
that part was actually pretty funny. I did laugh out loud. He's like, I have enough.
That is kind of funny. But
I need a horse.
I need a horse.
Okay, that was really tough, and I really did want to hear more about the villains in that.
That's why I stayed awake. I was away from that. If I unlock that box, Braden will trash me.
You got no chance.
But I also gave it to you because you fought a lot harder than I thought you were going to be able to with that movie, and you really did bring it.
I think even if you brought the villains in, I still think you would have won because, I mean, it was years that, the whole Hydra was infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. thing.
Yeah.
It was dark. It was a dark, well thought out process of how what was his name, Zoloff?
Yeah.
Who
put himself
in a computer, started Hydra, infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of that because, I mean, it was what the U.S. did at the time is they took Nazi scientists and tried to use them to better our country because of the whole Cold War thing. But that's on a whole nother level.
Yeah. I always thought about that. Like it would kind of be almost a logical way for that to happen in a sense. If the German scientists did defect. I know we're getting off subject here, but I feel like that would that would somewhat kind of happen, but not really. But that's beside the point.
But I think you would have won still, even if you brought up the villains, because the Joker.
I wanted you to talk about
crazy
Robert Redford.
Yeah, I should have talked about
that. Would have been a good one.
Yeah, but oh well.
Y'all ready for round 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Round 2 is gonna be. If you thought round 1 was nerdy, this is gonna be Avengers versus the Justice League. Okay, so
movie versions, except we did allow you to have Martian Manhunter.
Well, before we get started, I want y'all to list the ones that you picked out. I'm gonna let Braden go first because you went first on the.
All right, mine. I had Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, Shazam, and then they allowed me to add Martian Manhunter. Now, most of the people if you don't read the comic books and you just have watched TV shows and stuff, you would have seen Martian Manhunter from the early 2000s Justice League, where
Great show.
It was a really good show, but the problem was Martian Manhunter wasn't a big action character in that. He was more of the I guess
telepathic nature, because he was a telepath.
But I mean, his character in those shows were more of a Nick Fury, to say, basically. He was in the back, telling them what to do, leading the team from the back, while
kicking butt.
Everyone else was on the ground doing everything. He was just in the Overwatch.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, read your.
My team is Cap, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Vision, Scarlet Witch, and they did, even though he did die in the second movie, they did allow... Spoilers. They did allow me to have Quicksilver. So, yeah, that's pretty even so far.
Okay, so in this round, what I want to know, I want you to get as nerdy as possible. And I want you to say, like, this person has this power, so that overrides this person. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear, like, I know that this person has this much strength, and this person has this much strength. And I want to hear you pit these people against each other. And
Question. Is the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, are they mutants, or are they miracles? Like from the second Avenger movie, like
second
Avenger.
They're not mutants; they're miracles.
Okay, so that way we don't cause problems with Sony.
Or is it?
Don't want to confuse. No, it's Sony. We don't. Or no,
yeah, I think it's Fox.
Yeah, it's Fox. Fox. Sorry,
Sony.
Fox.
You already screwed
Sony
up Spider-Man,
sucks.
so it's
Y'all
okay.
have Spider-Man, so whatever.
It's like you don't even have a say anymore, really, honestly. Which is a good thing for all of us.
All right, so
alrighty, and Braden, you go with your list of. All right, so basically, how we're going to do this is Braden's going to go down his list on who he would set to fight and make a case, and then I'll go and do mine. All right, Braden, go ahead.
All right, so I have Superman versus the Hulk because there's no one stronger than Superman. The only person on his team that could even come close would be the Hulk or Vision, but I'll get into why I didn't use Vision later. Superman, because you can't kill him. He's got all of these other powers. He's got the heat vision. He can, which is odd that he can blow like cold air, so cold that it freezes things. If we're going with the Christopher Reeves version of Superman as well, that wasn't shown in the Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill Superman, but
Calvin and Hobbes. That's just, I don't know why when you said Calvin, I was like Calvin and Hobbes.
That's a good comic. But anyways,
what do you think would happen, Superman versus Hulk?
I think it would be a fair fight for a while, but I feel that Superman could land a really good blow on the Green Monster to knock him out, and once he's knocked out, I mean, he kind of calms down and he turns back into Bruce Banner, and once that happens, I mean, it wouldn't really be a fight until he gets mad again, but, I mean, with the fact that the sun gives Superman, like, his powers, basically, I mean, he could fight all day. I mean, he's stronger than the Hulk from what has been shown in the movies, other than... Because there haven't been a whole lot of scenes where the Hulk's fighting somebody of equal strength. So, I mean, Superman fought people that were equal strength, if not stronger than him, and with the added bonus of military training in the Man of Steel movie. He fought Zod. He fought two of Zod's lieutenants. I cannot remember their names for the life of me.
No one does.
Weird names.
No one does.
Well, I mean, I should remember their names because they were in the old Christopher Reeves one, but I don't remember their names. But one of them was like twice the size, if not 3 times more larger than Superman at the time, and he beat him up. He beat up the female lieutenant, who is a cunning warrior, who was quick, fast, agile. She knew how to take down her opponents that were larger than her. So, and then fighting General Zod, who was a military genius, who would know how to fight anyone and beat them at any way. He won against him. I mean, the fact that Zod was able to take off all his armor and in the span of 5 seconds figure out how to hone all of his senses, when it took Superman years to figure that out. Because it was impressive. Yeah, because of the movie. But, I mean, it's impressive that he was able to still fight him and win in the end. And that's why I think he'd be able to beat the Hulk. On the second list would be Batman versus Iron Man. Hang on. Do you think Hulk would how do you think Hulk and Superman? And then we'll do your first one. Okay. Okay. Well, I got the whole game plan. You want to do your whole game plan? Yeah, I'll do the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to do the...
No, you just go ahead.
Do the whole thing. Alright, so the second one on the list would be Batman versus Iron Man. Had a hard time deciding between on this one, but because Tony Stark is literally just a tiny little guy in armor who... He's smart. I won't take that away from him, but he is just a suit of armor. You alright?
I'm good. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm quoting Avengers in my head.
I was planning on quoting that, but I won't mess with Matt too much.
Oh.
Since Cap's also just everything out of a bottle.
Okay.
Tiny little steroid.
Okay.
Shots fired.
So I think since they're both equally matched intelligent-wise, I think Batman would be able to find a strategic way to take out Stark's armor, and then once he does that, Tony really doesn't have much of a fighting skill. I mean, he does in a sense, but it's not as well as Batman, I would say.
Could get another suit.
True, but knowing who Batman is, if he shuts down this suit, he already probably had a plan to shut down his entire system. To where if he shuts down his entire system, Tony Stark has nothing to do. He's just stuck in this suit of armor. And, I mean, I imagine through the few years from the Marvel Universe movies that we've seen, he's probably figured out some hand-to-hand combat, but it won't be up to par with Batman. And I think once he shuts down his suit of armor, he doesn't have any other tricks that Batman wouldn't already have, and I think Batman would end up winning. And then for the third pick, I have Wonder Woman versus Black Widow. I would not say they're equally matched strength-wise. I do understand from the comic books, Black Widow is... She is some form of a super soldier, correct?
Who?
Black Widow?
She does like have enhancements.
She does have enhancements.
She's not near
She's
as
not as powerful as Cat, but she does have some enhancements. So
She's quicker, though.
Yeah, she's quicker. She heals quicker. She does have some enhancements.
So she's not just a plain human, as it would be an unfair fight for her against Wonder Woman, who's Amazonian and just as strong as Superman. Not really, but for the sake of argument, we will say that.
I mean, I'll let you have it.
She is strong. I would not say she's stronger than Superman, but she is definitely like the third strongest person on my list under Superman and the Martian Manhunter. And the fight between her and
I don't think that's a fair fight, but
That's okay.
It's
No,
your
it's fine.
list.
No,
What?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Wonder Woman and Black Widow.
I don't disagree, but I'm trying to think of a way that would.
You just put them together because they're chicks.
I mean, who wouldn't want to fight? Who would not want to watch that happen? I mean, maybe it would be slightly entertaining. Yeah. I mean, don't deny it. I would enjoy it.
A man can dream.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, but I feel that it would be... I do feel since she is quick, she's fast, and she's able to heal, I think it would be a good fight to watch, and it would be evenly matched for a while, but I think because of Wonder Woman's strength that she would end up overpowering Black Widow and eventually winning the fight. And the fourth one on my list would be Green Lantern and Hawkeye, and a lot of people would be surprised at putting those two together, but they're both quick, smart, and crafty, I would have to say.
But I think we both know JL would win that. Or
Well, I don't
GL.
know, because I mean, you're able to like destroy Lantern's constructs, and I think Hawkeye would be able. It would be, because I think Hawkeye would be able to do that. But with Hawkeye being quick and fast, and he's pretty intelligent in a fight. I mean, now depending on which Green Lantern you choose to fight, because as right now I'm assuming Hal Jordan, rather than
unless you wanted to pick.
Well, John Stewart's still a military man as well. He's just, I believe, in the Marines.
Yeah,
But I'm going with
his type of fighting style is like more military type fighting style, I would say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hal Jordan, which is in a way military style, but he has his own flair because that's just the way his character is. But I feel that in a fight between those two, it would be an interesting thing to watch, and I think it would end up becoming a battle of wits rather than like Green Lantern just crushing him immediately off the bat. I think that Hawkeye would find ways around GL's constructs and would figure something out to definitely like even the playing field somewhat. But in the end, I think Green Lantern would still win because at some point, sorry to say it, I mean, Hawkeye's going to run out of arrows.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with just one arrow? Like, you can't, like, pick one up off the ground. I mean,
He always runs out of arrows.
he's going to run out of arrows. He doesn't have an unlimited supply of arrows.
I just thought,
Blew it. And then another one people might say is weird, but because we were having this battle later on in the show, I did Aquaman versus Cap. They're both equally matched in strength, I would say, because Cap's a human with the added effect of the super soldier serum. Aquaman is half human, half Atlantean. Atlanteans are known to be stronger than humans. Their skin is somewhat impenetrable to...
they have hardened skin because
they have hardened skin, but it's like it's confusing to say because I mean there's
they
some
live so
things-
far under the sea that they can withstand the pressure.
Yeah.
Of harder blows because of the pressure of the sea.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was Jeff Johns' reasoning for.
And it's just it's an odd thing to think about because I mean he would have like hard enough skin to deflect a knife, or from what I've seen in a few movies and stuff, or heard that they're able to deflect, like it's able to like deflect a bullet, somewhat like Superman. I would argue against that. I feel that there's going to be some weakness to that, but with Cap's fighting style, and he probably end up being very aggressive. He has the shield as a weapon. Aquaman has his trident. I'm not going to make this an unfair fight and put him in water. Cap would have no chance. Sorry to say it. He would have no chance.
Yeah.
It would be on land, but it would be a very interesting fight to watch. But because I'm fighting for my team, Aquaman would end up winning. But the problem is Arthur Curry, Aquaman, doesn't have a huge advantage over Cap, I would have to say, because he doesn't have the military instincts and the huge hand-to-hand combat experience as Cap would have. But I think it would take a little bit of time, but in the long run, Aquaman would end up beating Captain America.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't be upset that I'm bashing your superhero. I still have a few more.
Oh, what's
Calm
that?
down.
Sorry,
I mean,
sorry.
I don't know how you're going to fight this one, but we both have the same people lined up. It's Flash versus Quicksilver. I mean, they're both just as quick. They're fast. I mean, there's nothing you can really, like...
Fight will be over in seconds.
I mean, it would be like a 1.5 second fight. Quicksilver goes down because he's an immature little child. So, I don't know, honestly, out of that one, because they are the same. Like, they're both fast. Depending on which Flash you're going with, the Wally West version of Flash is not as fast. It would be just as quick as Quicksilver, but the Barry Allen Flash is definitely, in my opinion, faster than Quicksilver. So I think he would have a slight speed advantage. Not a whole lot, but enough that it would give him an advantage in the fight. And it would end up being just another fight of a battle of wits as well. I mean, you can't outdo somebody that has the same power as you. So I think Barry Allen, being a mature, older person, would probably plan out and figure out ways that he could outmaneuver, outthink, outfight Quicksilver. And then I added Cyborg versus Scarlet Witch, which it sounds odd, but the fact that Cyborg is half man, half machine. In most cases, he looks more machine than man at points. And the problem is, Scarlet Witch is really, really OP in the fact that she can mind control people, and that would just end the fight immediately. But I think with my pairing against Cyborg, it would be a difficult match, because not only does she have to fight against the human half of him, she would have to fight against the computer half as well, and that would be something that would be difficult to overcome when the computer half which could take control over Cyborg and would overpower the human half of him, so she has no control over him in the end, and it would be just a fight against the computer, and she has no power, mind control over that. She would have to use her telekinetic powers, but Cyborg ends up having his lasers, his gun, what's his special weapon? The
big, huge cannon, basically.
Yeah, it's just a giant, I forget the name, because...
Giant cannon.
It's just a giant cannon that I would have a hard time imagining her being able to deflect something in front of that without causing some sort of aftershock that could end up potentially hurting her in the end, no matter what. And in a close-up, hand-to-hand combat, if he could get in close enough, she would still be able to push him away, but I think getting a few blows on her would definitely start him, impacting her. And then I have Martian Manhunter versus Vision. That's difficult to say, because they have, I believe, the same exact powers. They're both extremely strong, as is shown in the...
Except for Vision doesn't have telepathic
powers. But I don't think Martian Manhunter could really... I mean, he could kind of use it against Vision, but I don't know how effective that would be against him at all. The only other thing that Martian Manhunter has over Vision is his ability to shapeshift into any creature he would so desires.
Yeah.
I think that would have a huge impact on the fight as well. But the fact that they're able to manipulate their density to be able to, walk through walls. They have... Vision has the stone, which he's able to shoot a beam out of. And then Manhunter has the heat vision eyes, I'm assuming. It's just lasers. It's the same thing as Superman. But they're both just as strong. I think with the added effect of the two powers that Martian Manhunter has over Vision would end up helping him in the fight. I think the shape-shifting would definitely play a huge factor in the fight, and it would end up probably helping him win the battle. And then the last one would be Shazam versus Thor. They both have power over lightning. Thor has a hammer. Shazam has the powers. I didn't have it looked up. I don't remember the acronym for Shazam. But he's got the wisdom of Solomon. He has the strength of Hercules. I'm gonna try to look that up real quick. He has the lightning ability of Zeus. I think it would be a pretty even fight, but in the end, I think Shazam would outwit Thor because he has the wisdom of Solomon at his disposal to end up outthinking Thor in the battle and end up winning.
Already, and I guess I'll go ahead and read off my fight list. So my strategy, I do have strategies of mine, since I had a little bit more time. The key to winning this battle is protecting the Hulk's mind, because Martian Manhunter is a telepathic, and so the way to protect it, and I think you're going to be surprised by this, is Cap versus Batman, and then I have Iron Man versus Wonder Woman, Thor versus Shazam and Superman, Hulk versus Green Lantern, Hawkeye versus Cyborg, and Black Widow versus Aquaman, and then I have the Vision versus Martian Manhunter, and then Quicksilver versus Flash, and then I have Scarlet Witch by herself. And so basically, this is kind of how this goes. Cap is able to defeat Batman because not only does Cap know every fighting style, but he also created 5 mixed martial arts of his own. That's not exactly stated in the movies.
We'll save more details of that for next round.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
cheater.
Sorry.
Try not to already lose all your stuff now.
So you have Scarlet Witch waiting in the back, and Hulk versus Green Lantern. Scarlet Witch not only protects Hulk's mind, but also starts messing with Green Lanterns, and so Hulk pretty much destroys him pretty quickly, and then he moves on to Cyborg, where Hawkeye is fighting him, and Hawkeye and Hulk pretty much destroy Cyborg. And Cap and Iron Man, I think, are able to hold their own. Thor is able to hold his own between Superman and Shazam because Superman is very much hurt by magic, and so he would be able to kind of somewhat take care of Superman, or at least hold him off, while also fighting Shazam. And so,
wait, who's fighting Superman?
Thor is.
Oh, okay.
He's fighting both Superman and Shazam. And then as they defeat Cyborg, Hawkeye goes in to join Black Widow with Aquaman and keep him kind of preoccupied, while Hulk goes over there to Martian Manhunter and helps Vision basically just destroy them, because now Scarlet Witch isn't only just protecting Hulk, but she's also telepathically fighting Martian Manhunter, while Vision and Hulk are fighting him physically. And so that's that pretty much that does that fight in. Basically just destroy them, because now Scarlet Witch isn't only just protecting Hulk, but she's also telepathically fighting Martian Manhunter, while Vision and Hulk are fighting him physically. And so that's that pretty much that does that fight in. And then they all push on to Aquaman, and then Hawkeye, Black Widow, Vision, and Hulk and Scarlet Witch take care of that. Quicksilver is able to at least keep Flash, I think, on his toes, because when Flash fights somebody of his same speed, it does take him a pretty long while to at least catch them, even though he is super fast. Just the nature of their battle would, I think, last pretty long. Or not last like super long, but just I think Quicksilver would know that he wasn't as powerful as Flash, but would keep him on his toes a little bit. And so you take Scarlet Witch and Vision, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and you take them on with you go ahead and help Thor with Shazam and Superman. And so Scarlet Witch just goes ahead and takes Superman's mind out of the game, and then Hulk and Thor and Black Widow finish up Shazam and basically put the final nail in his coffin. And then Cap and Batman are pretty much even at this point, and so Hawkeye and Black Widow go to help Batman, which will overpower Batman and hurts him too much. And while they're doing that, Scarlet Witch and Vision and Thor go to help Iron Man with Wonder Woman, and so they take care of Wonder Woman pretty quickly. And then all that's left is the Flash, which is the one that's the problem. But Iron Man probably has a missile that can catch him, or at least lock onto his heat signature. So at least the Flash may not be able to outrun him. Or not only that, but Scarlet Witch can get into the mind of Flash, and so that's always a big factor too. And they take care of the Flash. So that's kind of would be my game plan of how this scenario goes down.
Jeez, you came in with a whole game. I went in with like one-on-one type situations. Like I had no idea you were gonna pull that out. Of course, you had like long time to plan that out. Jeez.
So, any rebuttals you have for that, Braden?
I mean, I would try to follow your notes, but your notes are like out there. I can't even follow along with your notes, so I don't really have anything to rebut against that. But I don't even know how you like. I gotta see it.
Yeah, it's a little
Okay. So you have Hulk versus Geo, then going to help against. You have Scarlet Witch, Hulk versus Geo.
No.
Then you have Hulk, Scarlet Witch versus Geo.
Yeah.
Then you have the Hulk going to help.
The thing about it is it's not exactly, it's not like a whose power level it is. It's about like, can they hold off for help to arrive? And I think that not only that, but the Justice League doesn't exactly have a leader. It may be kind of Superman, but
I would say their leader would be more of Batman, because Batman is the one that plans everything out.
Yeah,
Like Batman is the Captain America for the Justice League.
I think though that what's so good about what with the Avengers is like they literally are all under Cap's leadership, and so they will take orders from Captain America, and so they're more unified type of unit, I think, and they all play off their their strengths and their weaknesses. I think a lot more than probably the JL, which is all kind of, except for Batman, a pretty good bit of just powerhouses kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Where now with the they're not super powerful, all of them, but they're all very integral, and so they kind of all are able to work as a team. And so I think that's why they would take this fight against the JL, at least a young JL team.
See, but the only thing that I would have to disagree with, if I would have actually done like a game plan rather than a one-on-one situation, which I didn't know how to start this one off, I would have pinned Superman against Vision, since Superman and like Martian Manhunter are so close together. The difference would be his telepathic powers and everything. I would put Martian Manhunter versus the Scarlet Witch, and then I would have somebody trying to keep the Hulk busy. I mean, I would probably end up putting Flash on the Hulk and trying to keep him busy, because all you would really have to do is aggravate the Hulk enough to piss him off. And he's going to focus on that one guy, and he's kind of zoned in there. And I think with the other way I have things laid out, I should have put Martian Manhunter versus Scarlet Witch, because I think with the years Martian Manhunter's had, with his abilities of telepathic powers and everything, and he's able to, pretty much handle himself pretty well when he fights his counterpart. I cannot remember the name of. He has the same exact abilities he does. I mean, so he has to figure out the mind game, and I think he's figured it out pretty well, that he would be able to overpower Scarlet Witch in the mind game and then end up physically beating her. I mean, now, I will agree you had a lot more time for me to lay it out. But I feel like the way I have things laid out, and if I would do a game plan on it and switch Cyborg and Martian Manhunter from what they are and have Martian Manhunter versus Scarlet Witch, I think it would have a pretty high probability of beating the Avengers. The only one that would be a hard thing to watch out and keep busy would be the Hulk, because the moment Scarlet Witch is taken out and you don't have to worry about her mind control powers, you would have to worry about where the Hulk is, what he's doing, and then you would have to throw Martian Manhunter on the Vision as fast as possible, because they're the only two that would be able to fight each other at equal pace to be able to keep him busy for a while. Then you throw Superman and probably Cyborg against the Hulk, and that would end up being a fight that would end up probably incapacitating the Hulk in the end, in my opinion, because everyone else would end up being able to hold their own against who I have pinned up against each other. I mean, Shazam and Thor equally matched with Lightning. I mean, the only thing that I would have to disagree with in your order of things would be Thor's magical powers over Superman. The only thing he has, like, magical power-wise would be his hammer, and which would just be like the Hulk punching him in the face, plus the added effect of the lightning. But I mean,
just like being around magic objects.
Well, you had you had Thor against Superman and
Shazam, and I think those two combined would end up probably, because all you have to really do is get Thor's hammer out of his hand, keep him busy to the point where he can't get his hammer to come back to him, and then Thor's pretty much done.
Well, I mean, he can call upon lightning and stuff like that, and can control the weather. But I also think that
I don't disagree with that. But I mean, Shazam can do the same thing with lightning. I mean, and he doesn't even have to he can just shoot it out of his hand. I mean, he's able to do the same thing with or without the hammer. Thor can.
I don't think it's not a battle of who can beat the other one. I think the way my game plan is set up, it's not about exactly beating each other down. I think it comes to playing a waiting game and waiting for once the Hulk takes Green Lantern, then everything starts in motion because Scarlet Witch is keeping the Hulk safe and not letting him be turned into a brute, and also with every opponent that the Hulk grabs and destroys, whether it be Cyborg and then Aquaman and all that. Martian Manhunter, I think, starts to sense this presence with Scarlet Witch and the way that she's protecting him and also damaging the foes that he's going up against. But not only that, he's got to deal with the Vision also because and he can't telepathically control him. So I think that it's not about like overpowering the other people. It's about just playing the strategy numbers type game. And I think that once and Iron Man versus Wonder Woman also is a very unique and dynamic fight because Iron Man, I think, is very agile, although Wonder Woman can fly and she is pretty powerful. Iron Man's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve and was able to hold his own against Thor, so I think that he'd be able to hold his own, at least for a while, against Wonder Woman. And I think that the way that the Avengers win is not by overpowering, or not by sheer just overpowering by a single character. It's by many. It's by a very type game plan. Otherwise, if it's just a one-on-one fight between you separate them up and all that, then I think, yes, the JL takes it. But if you have a game plan kind of going in and is able to use Scarlet Witch to protect the Hulk and to fight off Martian Manhunter, it's a very, very different outcome.
I'd agree with that, but the problem that I would have with your game plan is you're still putting the Vision up against Martian Manhunter, and in the movie, Scarlet Witch was able to read the Vision's mind.
But she wasn't able to take control of it.
That was never tested, though.
Yeah, I don't.
She's able to read his mind, so I mean, if you're going in with a plan on how things are going to work, he would still be able to read his mind and be able to get an idea of what they're doing and what's going on.
True.
So I mean, he would be able to telepathically communicate with all of his team members and inform them of what's going on, and I think they would be able to change things around and manipulate the plan in a way that would. I feel like the Avengers would end up being able to probably come back and regroup with the plan that you set up, but I think the fact that Vision's able to be read, if his mind's able to be read, that would also lead me to believe that he would be able to be mind controlled in a way. Mm-hmm. To an extent, it may not be as strong as it would be for, controlling Cap or something like that. But I think the fact that she's able to read his mind, I feel that it would be able to end up being somewhat controlled, or something could possibly be messed with enough to where it would probably distract him enough to where something could change and the battle could end up turning towards the JL side.
Although Martian Manhunter may be able to beat on Vision mentally, that still doesn't deter from the fact that Scarlet Witch is protecting the Hulk, and I don't think it would take the Hulk very long to deal with Green Lantern, and that's what sets it in motion, because as the Hulk gets stronger, or as the Hulk gets madder, he gets stronger, obviously, but also after he takes out Green Lantern, then it goes into this kind of chain effect, because Cyborg isn't going to be able to stop him, and then Aquaman would be able to stop both Hulk and Hawkeye, and Black Widow, and then from there it goes to now Scarlet Witch can just put all of her mental abilities into just these two, Hulk and Martian Manhunter, which releases the Vision to do what he does best, and the Hulk to just do what he does best, and then it just goes on from there. So that's it. Matt, anything that you want to ask about or just know, or you want our final comments?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I don't really like either of your pitches. Because I think, Braden, you had a lot of unfair fights. Someone really, really powerful against Hawkeye. Or Wonder Woman against Black Widow.
Yeah.
And then, Matt, I think you overused Scarlet Witch and Hulk. And you made it sound like nobody else could do anything. And I think you're forgetting, like, Scarlet Witch messed with everybody's mind, but then Hawkeye was like, no, I don't want to do mind control again. And he just like, no, you can't do that to me. And I think if Hawkeye can do that, then it's probably a lot easier to shut her down than we're thinking it is. And I'm not saying Hawkeye is weak. I liked your pick of the Battle of Wits, Green Lantern and Hawkeye. But, I don't know.
This is tough.
But at the end of the day, I think Superman and Hulk works very well, that Braden had. And then I also liked the Batman versus Iron Man fight that he had. Yours does show them working as a team, and you kind of touched on that a little bit more with Martian Manhunter changing the game plan.
Yeah. The only thing is, I don't know enough about Vision to actually say if Vision could be mind controlled. I feel like he would be able to snap out of it pretty quickly, but I still think if you're able to, like, disorient him for a little bit, I think with Martian Manhunter's power and maturity, he would end up being able to take out Scarlet Witch. Not quickly, but in a decent amount of time that could definitely change the way, I guess, his fight plan is set up.
Right. So with those in mind, I guess what would be your closing statements?
The Avengers,
or I mean, if that may change your stance. I don't know.
The Avengers are, I think, a better and closer team. They take direction more, and it's not exactly about the overpoweringness of one single character. It's about numbers, and if you play it right, I think that Scarlet Witch could hold her own, and I think also that Black Widow and Hawkeye could just hold off some and could hold off until Hulk got there and until Scarlet Witch could start her work, and then Cap and Batman and Iron Man and Thor will get some serious help through them, and then the Flash is left to be finished. So that's kind of my stance on that. So.
Okay. I think with my fight plan, there are a lot of overpowered fights in between the two. because I didn't do a fight plan like he did. But I would agree the Avengers team is, I guess, a little bit more of a well-oiled machine working together than the Justice League in a way. But with the Justice League and how they do have, like he said, powerhouse people, they would be able to like hold their own for a good while and enough to, with the added Batman strategy, Cyborg with his like ability to probably predict statistics and all of the other effects of a supercomputer hooked up directly to your brain, you'd be able to like predict outcomes of things. And then with Martian Manhunter's telekinetic powers of being able to link everyone up, and they're all communicating without Marvel knowing anything what's going on with their head, unless Scarlet Witch figures it out. But I think if you're able to like hold off your person for a little while, disorient them enough to be able to go take out Scarlet Witch, I think the Marvel team would collapse under that. Because once she's taken out, you no longer have to worry about the mental game on their side as much. The only thing you would really need to worry about a whole lot would be Vision and the Hulk. Thor is a big player, but I think with Shazam fighting Thor, that would be a fairly even match between the two. They would be able to like fight for a while. The only thing you would have to take out pretty quick would be Vision and the Hulk. But as you were stating, trying to keep the Hulk from being like mind controlled, I think if you take Scarlet Witch out, the Hulk would end up being mind controlled to an extent by Martian Manhunter. If you can put someone on Vision and keep him busy.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when you have two people that have basically the same powers. You can't really throw someone else on them without like being concerned that they won't be able to hold them as long.
Okay, I have another question. Is Thor's lightning, is it magic or is it just elemental?
I think it's magical. I think
Do we know?
I think everything he does has a bit of magic to it.
Okay, so it's not like just actual lightning from Earth's atmosphere, it's magic.
I think it's a little bit of magic also. It's not just, it's like, it is lightning, but it also is part of his magic, because that's where I think all of his powers kind of spring from.
Because that was a big factor in yours, was that Thor's magic would take out Superman.
I don't think it would take him out like right away.
It would weaken him.
It would just weaken him till help arrive.
Do you have anything for that? Or?
Well, I mean, he fought Shazam with Black Adam, and Black Adam's like the counter opposite of Shazam. I mean, it does affect him in a way. I don't disagree. Magic does completely affect him, but I mean,
do you know if it is magic or
for Shazam or Thor?
For Thor is what I was talking about, but
I think it has to be somewhat, but I think it is also like, I mean, just lightning in the same aspect. I don't really know. Like, I know Shazam is magical, but I think if you're going to use a lightning attack, I think it would end up being mostly like a more physical, elemental thing against the person rather than something else. Well, but I don't know.
My other thing is you put Shazam and Thor together, and then you have Thor and Shazam and Superman, and I was wondering what you thought would happen there.
Well, I think with the added, like, I mean, Shazam is, I would say, just as strong as Thor, with Superman being probably stronger than the both of them. I think Thor would probably end up being overpowered in the beginning. Not in the beginning, but near the end, as long as they can get his hammer away from him. I understand that he's able to control it, like, summon it with his mind. He doesn't have, they always show it, like, put his hand out, so it's just something that they do so that you see the CGI in the films and stuff. But, I mean, if you're able to keep his hammer away from him, he has to fight you hand to hand, and
he's still strong without the hammer, correct?
Yeah, no, he is. He is.
He was able to sucker punch the Hulk. So, I mean,
it's just, it would be a fight between two guys that are just as strong as you are. I mean, Because I don't know if the Hulk is that much stronger than Thor. I don't know. That's never really been talked about.
Yeah.
I think he probably could land a harder hit. I mean, because his hand's massive. But I don't know who would be stronger.
He punched Thor in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thor went flying.
He wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, but
I mean, he's also able to catch his punch. But anyways, go ahead and give your verdict.
I don't know. Okay. You have Hawkeye versus Cyborg, and then he goes and helps Black Widow against Aquaman, right?
No, well, yeah. After Hulk comes in there and helps him, because I don't think exactly Cyborg, or no, I don't think he can exactly hold his own against Cyborg for a long time.
Okay.
And Hawkeye works better with someone than just straight on his own.
Okay, and I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I don't know much about Vision or Martian Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Flash and Quicksilver fight. Y'all both picked that one. The one on yours I don't like is the Wonder Woman versus Black Widow. I decided I like the Hawkeye one here. I'm gonna go with Braden.
Okay.
Because, and the reason being is, I think, with the exception of Wonder Woman and Black Widow, he found a really good fight for each one. And I know it was all one-on-one stuff, but I think that's what they would do. Honestly, is as the Justice League, I think they would separate everybody to get,
to cover.
I don't feel like you used Iron Man enough, and I know I told you not to talk about Captain versus Batman.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like you just only used Hulk and Scarlet Witch.
Fair enough. So our next fight is going to be what if they actually fought? So Captain America versus Batman.
1-on-1.
1-on-1. Alright, so setting is, I say, just an arena with basically an arena.
And just for this fight, we're getting rid of Batman's no-killing rule.
Yes.
So it's a fair fight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he would kill, and so since you got, I guess you went first, I'll go first this time. Captain America has killed. He will kill if need be. He has done it. Anything that I think that Batman could throw at Cap, he could deflect with his shield, and also his his ability to dodge things and to heal faster. He gets shot, 8 or 9 times almost. And Winter Soldier is able to get right back, or not right back up, but was able to still fight throughout the pain. And not only that, but he is a military tactician. He is a genius when it comes to battlefield strategies. Not only leading the Avengers, but being a general and all that in World War II, and taking down Hitler. But not just Hitler, but Hydra itself. So. Not only that, but he does carry a pistol with him. He carries his shield with him. He has various pouches of just random things from a rope. At one point it was a rope, but it was more ammo and I think water's in there also. He is past the peak of. Hey, sometimes you gotta have that water.
Gotta have life-saving water, just in case you get stranded.
He does. He is. He can lift an insane amount more than Batman. He can do that. He is stronger than Batman. He is quicker than Batman, both mentally and physically, because he is past the peak of human perfection. He is genetically from a bottle made faster than Batman, And, I mean, it doesn't matter because he's going to win the fight. And also, Batman may be a great detective, and he may have a plan, but if he doesn't have prep time, and I'm assuming we don't have prep time, these guys are just thrown into just thrown into this arena and told to fight, and he has to kill them, then I think Captain America definitely takes this fight. And even if Batman does have prep time, so does Captain America, and Captain America is a valued asset when it comes to the battlefield, and is a military tactician and can just dismember you if he has he's a leader of the Avengers for a reason, and he sets the game plan for a reason. And so yeah, you can go ahead and have the floor.
I will take the floor. I will wipe it with you.
You can try.
I will. Don't worry.
It's okay.
I will agree with you that he is a stronger. He is a smart man. He is stronger than Batman, but I would not say his intelligence level is above Batman. I would say they're pretty evenly matched. But if we're going to go into the fight saying that they don't have any sort of prep time, I feel that would also play a factor into the fact that Cap doesn't have any prep time. I mean, being a military man, most fights you want to go into having a plan. Yeah, you can change your plan while you're going into it, but I mean, Batman, a lot of the times when he's fighting larger opponents, which point out, Bane, Killer Croc, I mean, I don't know how many people that Cap's fought that are sizably larger than him.
Thor, Iron Man, Hulk.
I mean, does he fight them though? Like,
yeah, I mean, in the comics he's fought them, maybe not in the movies.
See, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of comic book background for them. But I mean, as being a man that has no sort of enhancement, super ability on anything, he's able to fight people that are like twice his size, that are completely stronger than him, and he's having to outthink people. And I feel like going into the fight, he would probably start off hanging back, not full on attacking, doing the things that Batman would do by throwing his gadgets at Cap, like his batarangs and some sort of smoke pellet or something, just to like get an idea of what would be a weakness that he could manipulate. How is he going to outthink his opponent? Because while he's fighting him, he's also going to be thinking of a strategy to take him down. I mean, yeah, I feel that his first strategy would end up getting the shield away from Captain America. Not saying that it would be a weapon that would completely win the battle, but it's something that he could use as defense, and that's something that you need to get rid of. And he can use it as a weapon since it is the strongest metal in the Marvel universe, right?
Second strongest.
Second strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that is something that he could definitely use as a weapon.
It's basically like on par with the other type of mineral. It's just like a different. It does a different.
Anyway, you add one thing to vibranium, which is the shield, and it makes adamantium.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's something he has to get away from him, and I mean, he can't allow him to use it against him, because it definitely would be something that would help him out, but I don't think it would win the battle for him. And kicking a gun away from him wouldn't be difficult. Like, I feel it would come into the end that it's going to be a battle from hand to hand, and you're going to have to outthink your opponent, which I think Batman would be able to outthink his opponent quicker. I mean, yeah, Cap's a military man, but military strategy does take a while to plan out, and you have to like look at all of the objectives and what would be a quick way to win a battle. And you said earlier he knows every fighting style. I mean, I don't know how many that would be, but I mean, Bats also has 127 fighting styles under his belt as well. I mean, it's not a super unfair match fighting style wise, I would have to say. The only thing that he would have to worry and watch out for would be the added strength bonus that Cap has. But he's also fought people that are completely stronger, and he's come out on top every time. But I will agree, there are times where you plan things out. But I think throughout the course of the battle, it would end up being a fight between the two who were trying to plan things out, and it would probably end up being a big mind game that you're having to play with the added effect of physical attributes that you have to watch out for.
Can I ask this? What is the difference between Batman and Captain America's strength? Put a number. Can you put a number on it? Or
I read somewhere that Batman once benched 600 pounds or something like that, and then or like it was 800, and then Cap was he benched like 1,000. So it's like a 200-pound difference. A little bit. I mean, it like fluctuates from story to story.
Yeah, I mean, at least you know that. I wouldn't have had any clue. But I mean,
Cap
with the added bonus of his serum and stuff, it does make him quicker. It does make him stronger. I think
it does. Like, I think it makes him also more durable. Like, if Batman gets shot, like, and if he gets shot, it does take a toll. It does take a very quicker toll, I would say, on him than maybe Cap.
But he has armor, doesn't he?
To an extent, it's not gonna stop a bullet, but it would
It
probably.
would slow it down.
Like right here, it probably would be bulletproof, but it'll definitely slow it down enough to where it won't
Yeah, and
he's pointing to his heart for the listeners.
Yeah, sorry, I was pointing at my
chest,
the top region of my torso.
But I think that although you say about being smarter and outwitting him, when it comes to like an actual fight, I mean, Cap not only knows all the knowledge of how to fight, but he's one of the top 5 Marvel fighters hand-to-hand combat. And secondly, he also created his other styles of fighting, which Batman would not know, and so which would play a factor. And Captain America knows how to dismantle somebody, both mentally and physically, also. And although Batman is very smart when it comes to his detective skills and stuff like that, when it comes to taking down someone who is you're trying to kill, I think Captain America would have the edge. I think that the fight would go that Batman would be sizing him up, like you said, and he would get his shield away from him, but he would realize that Captain America was just as evenly matched as he was when it came to combat fighting. That whenever he used his tricks and stuff like that, like his smoke pelts and stuff, they wouldn't be able to exactly harm. It wouldn't be able to harm him, and his batarangs wouldn't do that much damage to him, especially if he had a shield. If he has a shield, there's no way that his batarangs or anything like that hurts him. And so I think it would take a toll, and the fight would come down to basically a fist fight, and possibly if Cap gets his shield back, it's a close, or it's very if he gets it can end quicker. But not only that, I would like to point out one thing is Cap does have that soldier syndrome, which means that he can, which part of that, and it's said of this also in the movies and stuff, is that he doesn't tire. And whenever he does tire, he gets his energy right back. And although Batman can go long distances for extreme amounts of time, he does have to rest, and he does have to survive more on human basic needs than Captain America does. And that's something that's going to hurt him, especially. And I think that Captain America is also a great shot, and so I think it would be very hard for Captain America to not aim at his face and shoot him, because I know his mask isn't bulletproof, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And so that would also play a factor into it. And it would just be, when it comes down to how, even though Batman would assess him, although Batman has fought bigger people, so has Captain America. And so, Thor slams his hammer on Captain America's shield, and his shield doesn't break. Iron Man will shoot stuff at him, and his shield won't break. His shield can cut through robots, as we've seen in Age of Ultron. It's been able to use in not only a defensive type style of fighting, but an offensive type style. And it's very versatile. Even without that, he's able to deliver devastating blows to very, very well-off mixed martial artists, and can then he does think like a not only a soldier, but he thinks as someone that is a tactician. And whenever you use that in the combat with Batman, I think that he would be able to size up what Batman was doing, which is watching him, and would lure Batman into a trap into thinking he would be able to get him, and then he would basically pull a rug out under Batman and take him out.
Okay. But the one thing that I guess I didn't even consider and think about, and I don't know if you have, but in every aspect, I don't feel Batman's fighting as hard as he can when he's fighting any of his villains in his universe, because his whole thing is he's not going to kill anyone. He's never out there to, like, kill someone. He's out there to injure them. But I think, since we took away that whole rule, I think it would definitely change his fighting, and I definitely think it would make him, whenever he figures things out and has his plan on how to attack Cap, I think it would definitely make him a little bit more aggressive and definitely change the way he plans on fighting Cap, since this would be a fight that he could end up killing or extremely injuring Cap to the point where, I mean, that's not something that he would normally do. Now, I did mention he fights larger opponents, but he never, like, fights them to the point where he's going to kill them. It's always like he had a strategy in place to weaken them down, to knock them out. But I think if he's fighting someone who he would end up having to kill, I think he would let everything go, and it would end up being a fight that you wouldn't have seen from Batman before. It would definitely change the style in which he fights. It would probably end up being more aggressive when they're up close, and he would probably pull out any sort of trick that he could use to weaken Cap in a way. I mean, I don't know of all of the gadgets that he carries on a regular day-to-day basis, but, I mean, if it ended up being a fist fight and he still had his, like, belt around him, he would probably end up using some of his, like, gadgets, such as, like, a batarang or something, as, like, a knife that he could grab and just kind of, like, slow him down somewhat. Because I do agree that it probably wouldn't, like, slow him down a lot, but it would definitely, like, take a toll if he's just jabbing him every, like, now and then unpredictably in, like, crucial spots of, like, the leg, torso, of the arm and stuff. I feel like over time it would definitely take a wear on Cap, but again, I mean, he's just going to completely change his fighting style because it is how we're stating it is a battle to the death. And I don't know how difficult it would be to get the gun away, but I mean, once you get the gun away, you could use it or he could use it, and I think a shot to the head would end up killing Cap. I don't think he would be able to, like, come back from that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big Cap fan, but I don't see how anybody could come back from a shot to the head. I mean, I imagine he could come back from a shot maybe to the chest.
He's been actually shot, like, a lot of times, like, in his body, and he's always been able to kind of come back. And he has to get shot multiple times for it to take a serious toll on him. Now, a headshot is what I think would from the right, because whenever Captain America does die, his most recent death, which was at the end of Civil War, he's shot by, like, the highest caliber sniper rifle, and he's shot, and
Isn't it in the back, though? I think it's in the back.
I think it's actually through his heart.
Through his heart?
Yeah, it goes through his heart, but he still is able to at least live, like, a couple seconds to tell him, hey, get the people out of the way. So I think that from just a pistol, I think it would take a couple shots, or it would take the whole clip to kill him.
The pistol that he probably is carrying is a 1911 45 caliber gun. I mean, I'm assuming, because that was the gun that he would probably have used in World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, a 45.
It's a bad gun.
It's huge. It will land a huge blow if he got shot in the head, which is what we're saying. And I mean, I know Batman doesn't use guns, but again, this is a completely different situation from what he's ever had. This would be like a battle to the death. No hold back, nothing to, like, contain him. And I think if a gun was pulled out, I think he would end up using it if need be, and it would end up being, he'd probably shoot him in the head, and I don't know what would happen. I think he would probably be able to, like, stand and say a few things for a little bit longer, but I don't know, because, I mean, it would blow a huge chunk out of the back of Cap's head to where it's like... He has no brain and he has no back skull. I mean,
if he got that opportunity.
If he got the opportunity. And that's the thing that would definitely be a changing factor for both sides, I think. But if the gun gets knocked away far enough to where it would be pointless to run after and try to grab, I don't think either one would try to do that. But if it became a close hand-to-hand combat and you can snag the gun away from one another, that would definitely be a changing factor. Yeah. But again, I mean, the whole thing that changes the fight is the fact that he is having to fight.
If he
hold back.
Yeah, if he gets a gun, but if Cap has a shield, then the gun is rendered ineffective. So it's.
It is. I mean, you'd have to shoot him in the foot several times to where it would bother him, so he drops his shield, and then you'd have to get him in the head. But I mean, it's just that's the other thing. Like, that gun only holds
so many X amount of bullets.
Oh, I know the exact number.
Well, they're both quick. Like I feel like I've seen both of them dodge bullets too.
They do. I mean,
so
almost, or and it's. I think that Cap would be able to play his mind game. I think that he's superior in fighting skills and also superior in strength. I think that Cap has also proven himself with fighting bigger foes just as much as Batman has. Also, I think Captain America has more heart. If you look at the story in the Infinity Gauntlet, where Thanos basically wrecks all the huge superheroes, and Captain America says, he says, as one, I may not be able to stop you, but as long as there's one man still standing, you haven't won. And he's talking to Thanos, and I think that's the type of never give up part about Captain America that is just, I think it would be hard for Batman to overcome. It's just, this guy will always get back up, and that's the problem. And Batman may, if he has a plan, he can kind of go in, but Batman can also lose his stuff too, and Cap too. But I think Cap is always this type of get back up person. That's what would really separate when it came down to and how they were able to use that.
I mean, I don't agree with that, but I'll also say Batman is the same way. I mean, had his back broken. I mean, recovered from that, and then came back and defeated the guy that just broke his back. I mean,
Captain America, okay. He was frozen, alright? He didn't get to dance with his girl, okay? No.
See, but his
That's
girl...
worse than a back breaking, let me tell you.
But his girl was still alive in the movie. Bat's girl died in the movie.
Yeah.
We're not fighting who has the sadder backstory.
No, but I mean...
Because technically, both their parents die.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It would still...
Both their girls
still have a pretty, sad backstory.
I'm ready for your closing statement, and what I'm looking for, I guess, is why do you think that your hero would win, and how? And I want you to do that in, one sentence. Because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
So... I forgot who went first.
I think
you did.
Yeah, I did. Captain America would win because he's not only the better fighter, but he has a better experience when it comes to killing people, and has a more strategic mind to dismember somebody. And I think he has the mentality to never quit. And whenever Batman's in a pit and he's not surrounded by darkness, I think you lose an element of Batman that makes Batman who he is, and Captain America has always stepped to the plate even whenever he has no odds. So that's my last statement.
Okay.
All right. Reason why I think Batman would win is this is a whole different fight from what he normally does. It's a fight to the death. He would not hold back in any way. He would figure out any form of weakness that Cap has, use that weakness to take him down, and he's a quick guy to figure out things and would play a strong mental game, and I think he has the mentality of he's never going to back down, and he'd be able to keep up physically for a while. And that's it.
Alright. This one's a little more cut and dry because I was keeping tally on your things, and Captain won 5-4.
Yes.
I think if I remember right, what won the fight for you was the thing about Thanos, saying that he would never give up, and there's I kept waiting for you to talk about Batman, his stealth. And I think that he would be able to come up with a plan because he would hide in the shadows.
Well, and in my thought process of this was like a cage match, it's going to be all lit, so it's kind of hard to hide in the dark area.
You did say that.
Yeah.
So I didn't think of that.
You told me a lot of things about Captain America that I didn't know. I didn't know. Well, I probably did, but I forgot. But I didn't know that he never tired.
Yeah.
I didn't know how you were going to overcome that. He is stronger. I didn't know that he invented fighting styles. I still think Batman he wouldn't be completely useless against those fighting styles. And I didn't want to. I really didn't. So I'm trying to be
fair judge.
Fair.
Well, thank you, Braden, for coming on here. Thanks to you, Matt, for judging.